place where visionary leaders build a life and business legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, welcome back, leaders. I hope you're doing well. We have reached the end of this year almost. This is the last week of 2023, moving into 2024. I know a lot of you are kind of reflecting on the year and setting your new heights and goals for 2024. So I hope that this conversation will be so timely for you as you level up your leadership skills and you focus more on your purpose and also the profit alignment in your companies as well. So I'm so excited to have another amazing guest today, another expert that will share his experience and expertise around the topic today. But not only that, of course, discover a little more regarding his journey and how did he actually get to what he's doing today. So I would love to introduce you, Bilal Kola. Welcome, Bilal. Thank you so much for coming on to the Life School Masterclass show and looking forward to having a great conversation today around this topic, but not only the topic. So welcome. And Bilal, I usually start off all my guests with the same question. If you can share some of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you're doing today, I think that will be very helpful in people learning a little bit more regarding your journey.
Thank you very much, Elona. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and I really congratulate you for everything that you have achieved. So well done to you, and I'm very privileged to be in this show. Well, I'm going to start. It was kind of a sort of decision which was not on my side to be where I am today. I was born, just to start it from the scratch, I was born in an Albanian communist concentration camp. But long before I was born, my family was put in a communist concentration camp since May 45. Now, I've been sort of deprived of all my rights and liberties while I was a kid and a teenager. But thankfully, communism fell and collapsed while I was at that time only 18. And from that point on, I just sort of grabbed every opportunity that came my way with both hands. And as it turned out, I managed to study in London. I did my law degree there, master's there. I got back to Albania. That was the sort of scholarship I had. I was sort of supposed to go back home, and then that's what I did. So I have had all sorts of let's say, engagements in both sectors, public and private. And I was fortunate enough to start with, let's say, leadership roles. And throughout my 24 years as a lawyer and as a leader, I have come to realize that, there are so many skills that you can learn, but mindsets are much more important than the soft skills. And I mentioned uh, my experience as a kid and a teenager in that concentration camp, but that's a very, very relevant experience because I believe that ultimately the things that really push us forward and really drive us to excel are the sort of experiences where we are very much put to the corner. And at that moment, some of us would sulk, but some others would grab this as an opportunity because ultimately these are the things that, just like, I'm not talking about myself here, but the phenomenon of diamonds is that when they are really pushed like to the extreme, that's where the let's say the rough edges go and diamond comes to light.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
point basically about leadership is this: we of course, have the opportunity to make in terms of the experiences and to draw lessons, but the the special ones, I believe, turn out the so-called uh, unfavorable circumstances into opportunities. And there is this saying of President Kennedy, which I love. He mentioned in one of his speeches in Berlin, he said that the word challenge in the Chinese language is made of two hieroglyphs. One of them means danger, and the other one means opportunity. So at the very moment that we're facing a danger, ultimately that's where the opportunity lies. So I mentioned the concentration camp out of all experiences because at that concentration camp, I've learned so many things about true leadership.
Bilal, I would love to gently interrupt you kindly. I love what you just shared, and we also share a common origin from our, home country in Albania. So I think thank you so much for sharing your story. And I agree with you. I think in the moments of challenge is where we actually grow as individuals, and we get to also see our strengths and how we actually adapt and persist despite the challenges that we overcome, especially as leaders or even in our personal lives. So I love that you shared your personal journey to kind of showcase some of that leadership mindset that you said that it's more important than the technical skills, right? The soft skills are always more important than the technical skills. Not that obviously the alignment of both does not help, but everything begins with our mind. So based on what you have learned from your personal experience, and I wanted you to continue the story now from your personal story, what are some leadership skills that you have personally learned and applied with your experience and with your teams? And I know you help also companies, businesses grow. What are some of those leadership skills, I say top priority skills, that you could share with us today that you feel will add value to someone that is looking to always grow, develop their leadership skills? Because one capability of all leaders is they always want to grow and evolve. I think leaders that are successful never think that they have already reached a certain level. They're a student, they're a life student. They're always looking to grow and develop. So what are some of those skills that you could share with us?
I would, generally speaking, I would comprise them under four main skills, and I'll start with the very most important one in my belief is to cooperate with everyone as long as we see uh, the benefits of producing results, not only for us who cooperate, but also for the community at large. And I'm going just to give you a little bit of a personal experience in order to illustrate this. What do I mean by cooperating with everyone? Um, you know, uh, coming coming from an origin where I thought that all communists were bad, it came. I just came to this realization by being amidst this interesting experience. A very sort of good mentor of mine, who happened to be the aunt of my dad, my grandfather's sister. She basically was in her place, in her house, and some communists came over and they started throwing a barrage of insults, and they were offending. Could she make an application to become, let's say, a member of this organization? The way she responded basically made me realize that yes, there is an opportunity to cooperate with everyone, even these hardliners, these communists. Basically, the idea behind cooperating with everyone, in my understanding, is this: ultimately, we all have preferences. Ultimately, we all have standards, and of course, we'd like to uphold those standards and preferences. But if we are result driven, and by result driven, I mean we need to, let's say, get to a point where we deliver results. Ultimately, we need to cooperate with everyone as long as the products of our cooperation, the results, are measurable and they are beneficial for all parties. I would also single out connection. Uh, Everyone knows, Elona, that ABC used to always be closing. That's the holy grail of sales, but not any longer. ABC now means always be connecting. So for us, Of course, we are all, as human beings, we are all inclined to basically sell at any interaction we come across, even with family members, because let's say to our kids we sell morals and or let's say behaviors. But ultimately, we are not going to be successful in anything, in any persuasion avenue that we would like we strive to follow and achieve, unless and until we connect. So I believe connection is key. And I would also single out influencing people without leverage. What do I mean by influencing without leverage? Each one of us, when we start out, we don't have much leverage. And in order for us to really upscale, we need to motivate people. But how do we motivate people without having the leverage to basically influence them? I think the key always will be to basically find common ground. And as long as we do find common ground with people, then we create the synergy. And of course, it becomes really the history of humanity is this, that every movement, every significant movement is has three main components. It has an inspiring leader, a leader who basically looks towards the future, because the future will be the holy grail of solving the current problems faced by the current situation, and also the one who identifies common benefits for those who follow the leader. So that's where ultimately I think the influencing without leverage falls.
Yeah.
And I think the ultimate thing for each leader would be to lessen his or her ego in order to magnify results. Now, lessening our ego is a very delicate and is a very sort of hard thing to achieve, because ultimately we are all human beings. But I know so many stories in terms of applying how we can lessen our ego. But the one really
Mm.
very interesting story about Leah Kota really stands out in terms of how this hardliner capitalist, he was this guy that he had achieved everything in life in terms of being the CEO of GM, CEO of Ford. And this guy was kind of, he took a position not because he needed money or needed fame or anything, because he was already with the money and the fame and everything. But he just felt that this was his ultimate shot to making it before retiring. And then he had the option to actually get out of business because he was facing bankruptcy. And what he did was completely out of blue. Not only he lowered his salary to $1 a year, and of course he asked all the, let's say, the leaders in the organization to lower the salary, but what he did was really something that everybody considered as a humiliating thing to do. He went to Congress and he asked for sovereign loan guarantees. Now, this hardliner, he was a capitalist, going to Congress. When he came out of Congress, journalists were asking, how come somebody like you is doing something like this? You're asking for state aid, basically, and you're a capitalist. I mean, you've been a hardliner. You've been criticizing all these leftist ideologies and things like that. And the guy said that, no, it's not about me anymore. It's about my team, and it's about the results. So when it comes to my team and when it comes to my let's say company's result, I'm quite willing to swallow my ego. So ultimately, leadership is about giving, in my opinion.
I love
And
it. Well, Bilal, you've touched on so many pillars already. You said, collaboration, you said connection first, and also the influence without leverage. I think those are also, from my experience, three very, very important pillars that we need to learn and also apply in our day to day as leaders. And I love that you touched on the ego subject. I think this is a fascinating one, especially, what drives our ego, what drives our desire to succeed, right? It's just fascinating to learn that, there's so many exercises and things out there that I also go through myself to kind of figure out the deep drive, because the more we are aware, what is that, what is it that drives us, the more we can start aligning, with the right actions. And if we are driven by maybe outside things that really connect with some sort of insecurity or confidence, building ability that we need to do, then at least we have that awareness, because I think that's where most ego actually comes from. So I love that you actually touched upon that. So I want to go to the second part actually, and I know you touched upon that a little bit with sharing the example of what is one leader that has led revolutions and has made changes in society and evolved us forward, whether it's a company or your government. It doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, it's the same principles. What are some of those principles that we can use as leaders to better align our team around, to better guide them, first of all, and also align them around that vision that we talked about, or the mission that someone believes in, and really thinks that it's the new way to add value to the world and solve a unique problem that has not probably been solved before?
Uh, it's a very, very good question, Elona. Well, let's say for different perspectives and different, let's say from different angles, people might come to completely different conclusions. But ultimately, I believe everything boils down to results. And ultimately, everything boils down to team. So if we were to put in the imperative list, if we're to make a list of hierarchies and put the imperative list results and team, then ultimately everything would fall into its own place. So a leader, uh, or let's say at his forefront, her forefront, a leader should have results on the back of his mind, and team performance, because nothing can be achieved on your own. Then you're a self-employed person, but not a leader if you work on your own. So those two imperatives, in my opinion, are what we should have at the forefront as leaders, at the forefront of our approach, at the forefront of our strategies, and at the forefront of our, let's say, engagement as leaders within our organizations and beyond.
Mm. So what I hear you say is, you said team and results. So be focused on these two very important metrics, because yeah, I absolutely agree. It's always the who, never the how. You learn
Yes.
how to think differently when you think of that, because you just become, when you're a leader, you empower others and you really can tap into their talents and abilities. And that's what's going to make you go further faster with any goal that you have, or with any result that you'd like to
Yes.
achieve, based on what we
Yes.
said. So I love that you share those two important metrics as well. And I think, guiding people, I think you touched upon that too, with that common goal, like what's important to your team as well. Yes, it's great that we have a vision and we see the world differently and we are that visionary, let's say, but what about the people, that are in there, understanding, aligning what their needs are and what their goals are and what matters to them, and doing a great art sort of piece of connecting the dots for them between what's important to them and what's important to the impact that you're trying to create. I think it's definitely a great harmony between both those factors as well. Bilal, I would love to get some insight around your unique approach that you help businesses grow. What is your specific methodology of how you help businesses grow, besides our topic today of leadership?
Yes. Well, since 2000, as I shared with you, since I came to Albania in 2000, I've had leading positions in across industries, both public and private. But since 2009, I had my own law firm, and basically I've been advising companies on all aspects of law and business, because that's where I've been focusing, business law, and in terms of corporate governance, how they should be better structured. But I've pivoted since 2002, 2022. I wrote this book about personal development. Now the book is in English, because initially I wrote the book in Albanian. Now the book is in English and can be found in Amazon as well. And I was just certified as an ICF executive coach only recently. So I'm going into business coaching, and basically, the way I'm approaching business coaching is twofold in terms of soft skills and mindset training for managers, and basically individualized coaching for entrepreneurs now, and C-level executives. The way I have come about to do this basically is this: I feel that ultimately each one of us has tremendous potential until we don't start tapping on it, which it just remains potential. In order for us to materialize what we have, I love this. Maybe this would probably uh, kind of leverage this example. Einstein has got this fantastic quote. He says, "Everyone is a genius, but if the two of us, if you and I, says, judge a fish by its ability to climb upon a tree, not only you and I, but even the fish would think that is just a stupid fish." Now, I believe that in order for us to, you were mentioning something in your intro about purpose. In order for us to really tap into our basically potential, first and foremost, we need to find our purpose, because that's where we don't work, but we just do for work our hobbies. So that's what I mean by purpose. It's our ikigai basically, and exactly this is where I'm aiming at. I would like to develop these skills and mindsets of result oriented mindsets, and the soft skills which lead to success. But my ultimate goal is to help as many people as possible, of course, executives and entrepreneurs, in reaching their maximum potential. But first and foremost, we need to focus on a purpose driven mission. And as long as we align our actions and our goals with our purpose, then we don't need to put our alarm clock anymore on. We just are sort of, we've got this intrinsic motivation to succeed and be the very best version of ourselves.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I love that you touched upon potential and purpose with your book as well. What's the title of the book, and what are some of the topics that you have laid out for people to learn more about?
12 mindsets to improve life radically, and that can be found in Amazon. Well, as I speak, it is an Amazon bestseller, but that was only for the first 24 hours because Amazon has a measuring. They've got their own metrics, and now I have to wait for the next 3 months. I was going to perform. What I basically, there are 12 topics in that book, and I start with the so-called spiritual alignment, and so I talk about accepting reality, and I talk about forgiveness. Then I talk about equanimity. I talk about the open mindset. Then I talk about the so-called these self injections that we can project for ourselves, but not only project, but go into and materialize. I talk about auto suggestion. Then I talk about the soft skills, all the skills in terms of leadership, in terms of the emotional and social intelligence, in terms of conflict resolution. Then I talk about the so-called self-actualization, which in my opinion should start with this mindset that nothing is a failure, everything is a stepping stone to success, as long as we are talking about aligning our values, intrinsic values, with our outer goals in terms of reaching our potential, being the very best version of ourselves, but always following our purpose. So, and
Hmm.
I talk about gratitude as the very best and the quickest way to get us into an elevated uh, state of being. Uh, so my book is about
Sounds
personal
like
and
a value
professional
packed
development.
book. I love it. Sounds like, and I love that you've taken a holistic approach to even how you're going to help businesses grow, and also how you probably are able to complement some of your past experience in law and business law. It's just, yeah, I could already definitely probably will grab a copy on that on Amazon as well and be able to read some of your experience. That's the reason why I love books. It's like a legacy product. Someone can go through life and learn something that took them 20 years, and they could put it in a book that's 200 pages, and they're already giving you their wisdom. So, it's just
Thank
like
you.
fast way to grow, obviously, besides hiring mentors and aligning yourself with the right people. Of course, there's so much now we could do to realize that potential that you said, and also discover our purpose, because I absolutely believe that once you tap into that, it's a completely different life. And once you experience it, you want everyone to experience it. And we all have a reason why we're born. There's a reason.
Yes,
Nothing is okay. I'm just born here to just pay my bills and do what society says and kind of go. I think it's you intentionally discovering that for yourself, and being able to test your gifts and abilities and test yourself in many areas until you figure out what are the things that come naturally to you. I think it's absolutely a different life. And that is the way that you can add value to the world. We all want to contribute as humans. That's
yes,
our main intrinsic value based on what you just said, right? And that's what I've
yes,
discovered. I'm like contribution, contribution. We all want to feel valued, appreciated, and contribute. If you want to have those three values in your company, you're going to have people that, of course, are going to be there with you for a long time. Because, again, if those needs are met, we don't have to leave, just like a good relationships. If my needs are being
absolutely.
met, I don't have to leave and go somewhere else. So I love that you have aligned all of those different topics in your book as well. And Bilal, before we actually end the interview, I love to pick your brain on business law. What are some things that you can share with us around awareness in this area? Because I know it scares a lot of entrepreneurs or even CEOs that obviously are not versed in this specific field. So what are some principles you could share with us around business law that you feel we should know, and it's something to be aware around?
I'm going to share that with you in a second, but I'm just going to align with this, the so-called giver's high. The ultimate, let's say, fulfillment in life comes in us giving what we are driven to give as a contribution. So that's the ultimate fulfillment. Yes, about business law. First and foremost, I would advise all entrepreneurs not to go to the lawyer once there is a problem, because prevention is always better than the cure. So nothing, nothing in terms of big deals, nothing would be uh, sort of in terms of expenses that would incur, nothing would justify the losses that they will suffer if they don't go to the lawyer. But in terms of principles, I would say that when it comes to business, ultimately, we all have one sacred thing, which is our image. So, in order for us, we can build our image with 25 years of hard earned work, and we can lose it in maybe a couple of seconds. So, the best thing for us to do is just as a, let's say, as a business person, this is just by my experiences, is to think of the moment that somebody is going to write our necrology, somebody is going to write after death something for us, what kind of business people we have been. And that would be probably a very interesting sort of introspection. Ultimately, we should aim towards building trust and towards giving before we even contemplate getting, because that's what life is about, and that's what business should be about. In order for us to get, we should be thinking of ourselves as contributors first. And if we build this kind of reputation, then people will be queuing to do business with us. Rather than we searching business opportunities, people will be queuing for doing business with us, because nothing will ever prevail in terms of let's say, credentials aside reputation. Reputation is very, very important. But reputation is not built with words, but is built with hard-earned deeds and results. So
Yes.
let's say in my experience, I have come to know all sorts of people, but who the ones who have the sort of background that they do what they say and they say what they do are the sort of business people that are not only admired by their colleagues, but they are very sought after in terms of doing business with them.
Yeah, trust is at the cornerstone of everything. And I love that you shared that with law as well, and reputation and branding. Once you build a name for yourself, it's so important that you operate under those values despite challenges that might come across or maybe deviations in the journey, because they will come and they will test you.
Yes,
That's why it's
yes,
important to be so, rooted in your purpose and values, because I think
yes.
the more you understand where that is coming from, and the less costly mistakes you'll make because of a momentarily, bad judgment and decision, for sure. And aligning yourself with the right people is important, as we talked about the who, and leveraging people's experience. In this case, a lawyer. Having a lawyer in your back pocket, I always say align yourself with the right people around you, because that is absolutely gonna save you so much, and is going to add so much value based on the results that you're looking for as well. Well, Bilal, we've actually reached the end of this interview. Me and you seems like we can go on and on into sharing topics and experiences, because it seems like we're very aligned in even the work that you're doing as well. So I love that we have that commonality. But for my last question, we have to close out this episode. Maybe I'll have you back and we could continue into some of those topics of your book. I'm pretty intrigued around some of those things that you talked about, because I think at the end of the day, I also am very holistic in my business approach. It's also about aligning your personal life, because I mean, what's the point of just being successful in one area when you have compromised your health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your relationships, all these other things that we know now are so important, and to be able to do it for your team as well. So I think, it's pretty fascinating that you also have that insight on those topics as well. But my last question for you for the day in this episode is, if you can fill in this blank, whatever comes to you from your heart. I always say speak from the heart. And if you could say, my purpose, I will ask you to fill in this blank. My purpose in business is, what would be your answer?
Is to basically gain for myself the giver's high and help and contribute to better other people's lives.
Love it. So we went back to contribution. Yes, absolutely. That's one of my main drivers. I've seen that when I made the leap from where I worked into entrepreneurship. That's why I call it purpose. I think that is what we're looking for the next level, because we're looking for joy and fulfillment. And if we can align all of those, I think that's powerful. Where is it that people can also further connect with you in our community? One of the main important values is connection and collaborations. I love that you touched upon those without even knowing much about even what our work is all about. But where is it that people can continue and further connect with you and continue this conversation?
I am in all social media, but I'm very active both in LinkedIn and Instagram. So they can find me Bilal Kola at LinkedIn and Mindsets for Living underscore Bilal Kola on Instagram. So yes, they can find me in social media. I tend to be really active there, especially on LinkedIn, because I view it as more of a professional sort of professional related social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely connect with Bilal. Go check out his website, check out his book. It seems like to have so many amazing holistic topics around business growth and alignment. And Bilal, I want to thank you and wish you much success in your purpose and journey with this new venture that you're taking on. And I think you also are a great example for a lot of Albanian entrepreneurs that are looking to choose this journey as an entrepreneur now, to be able to contribute beyond them and learn and grow, and add value to ourselves and also the society as a whole. So I think it's really empowering and inspiring. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to thank you for watching. You know what to do to support our show. Should subscribe, review, and share with so many more entrepreneurs that you feel need to hear this message. Thank you again, and I'll see you in 2024. Bye.
Thank you, Elona. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you a happy new year and lots of success throughout 2024.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Looking for alignment between your purpose and your profit in your business. If you're experiencing these two main pain points in your business, lack of consistent cash flow and sales, and also lack of knowledge and strategy for scalability, then we must connect. I would love to schedule a call for a 30-minute free discovery session where I could see what you have built, meet where you are in your phase and stage of growth, and also help you identify some of the gaps that you might be experiencing in your business, in the alignment of your purpose and profit, and also in really carrying forward that vision that you have for your company moving forward, for your impact and also for your profit. Schedule a free 30-minute discovery call in the link below, as my calendar gets very full very fast, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there.